Hey, what's up guys? Tolerant here with a new type of video that I hope you will be liking. We'll be going over the early life and rise to stardom of some of the biggest TikTok stars on the platform, and the subject for today's video will be none other than the largest creator on the platform. Yep, we're talking about Charli D'Amelio today. Make sure that if you like the video and you like the kind of content I'm making, that you subscribe to the channel so that I know you guys want me to keep making this kind of content. I'd imagine that none of you are new to what TikTok is, since it has risen to the top of every chart imaginable in the App Store, as well as practically taking over many people's lives. I know that I'll sit down and easily lose an hour of my day scrolling through my For You page, something that I really need to stop doing, honestly. I have seen a lot of videos similar to this style, in which the narrator talks about the rise and often fall of YouTube stars, Twitch streamers, and other content creators, but I've not seen anyone talking about TikTok stars and how they came to where they are. And with TikTok being such a large platform, it's amazing I haven't seen anyone else doing it. And I want to go over very specifically the environment that these TikTok stars came up in, because as we all know, environments change on certain platforms and evolve to match the mainstream or to carve out their own new mainstream. Such as with YouTube, the likes of Leafy is here, being tolerated in the early years of YouTube, but then saw a quick strike of the ban hammer upon returning with the same tune that he had before. I think it's very important that we talk about the ecosystem that these TikTok stars faced, so that we don't get it muddled with what is today's ecosystem of TikTok. It is not news to anyone that dancing and lip sync videos are huge on the platform, with certain creators doing it and being the largest on the platform, such as Bella Porsche, who, being an attractive woman and doing them, has essentially the 1-2 knockout combo. While I don't feel this brand of content to be that interesting to myself, I do understand how smart the creators that invest in it are, as they know their audience and they know what they will be willing to consume and how much of it they will consume before they get tired of it. Some creators have found success in doing this, but with something special added on top of it, and that is exactly what Charli D'Amelio has done here. Her brand of special topping being her charismatic personality, actual talent when it comes to dancing. So without further ado, let's get into talking about her. As much as I wish I could say she started from the bottom and worked her way up, whether she's just like the rest of us, well, I can't. Because I would be being disingenuous to you, and I'd be bold-faced lying to you if I said that. She comes from money, and a lot of it. She was born May 1st, 2004 in Norwalk, Connecticut, to her father, Mark D'Amelio, who was a former Republican Connecticut Senate candidate, that's a mouthful, and a current business owner. Her mother, on the other hand, shows where she got her ambition for stardom, as her mother is photographer and former model Heidi D'Amelio, the now famous Instagram star. Like I said, she comes from massive amounts of money, and I'm not talking six figures either, as her mother's 2019 estimated salary was $360,000 for just that year alone, which isn't even counting her father's 2019 estimated salary of $429,000 that year. So yeah, they aren't hurting for cash, but I could already see some of you saying, well, that's not when she was younger. Well, I do have some news for you. She and her older sister, Dixie, both attended King School, formerly known as King Low Haywood Thomas, which is a very expensive private school. How expensive are you thinking it could be? That's the funny part, as tuition costs for each of the two sisters would have been $35,100 for preschool, and raising each and every single year until $48,160 each year for 9th through 12th. Coming from a poor kid that ate free school lunch every day and rode the bus, it's crazy to think that her parents invested that much money into just school for their kids. It's just mind-blowing. Just a single year's tuition for their kids would have been a life-changing amount of money to the common man. So hopefully that puts in perspective how well off she started and how much money they had when she was young and now. Now, none of this detracts from her rise to fame, but it does show that she is not your average American girl that hit it big, which is something that's very important to remember in these kind of instances, because some people will try to claim that for clout, which is something I am vehemently against. But with her background being gone over, we can get into the beginning of her career. She was actually not an early adopter to the platform, which is unusual for someone at the top of the charts, but isn't something we haven't seen before, like the Paul brothers getting their rise from Vine, then busting onto the scene on YouTube without even being early adopters to the platform. The app TikTok launched in September 2017 here in the US, and it wasn't until late 2019 that Charli D'Amelio started uploading onto the now world-renowned app. So that is a 2-year gap where she was not present on the platform, but now having rose completely to the top is something that is kind of unusual. Her early content featured her dancing and lip syncing to trending songs that were going around on the platform, and with a talented affinity for dance, she took on like wildfire to the platform. She had what a lot of her competitors didn't, and that was skill, natural talent, and years of training to hone the other two into a fine edge. One of her first videos to really take off was a duet with Move With Joy, who is another prominent dancing TikToker on the platform. A duet on TikTok, for those that don't waste hours every single day, I should say, on the platform, is whenever you record your video and it will play alongside the video you are duetting. This duet with Move With Joy was really good for Charli, as it got her in front of a large audience so that people could see her and check out her content if they liked it. This kind of rise is seen in a lot of content creators, such as Jacksepticeye, who has a whopping 27.3 million subscribers on YouTube right now, and had received a shout out by none other than PewDiePie, which caused his audience to jump up to 6 times what it was before the shout out. Jack rightly deserved all of these new subscribers that he got, but quite a few of those subscribers wouldn't have found his content as early, or maybe not as at all, and realized how much they actually loved his content if not for the exposure that he received from the shout out. They may have found his content, and just like in this case, they may have found Charli's content, but no doubt it would have taken longer for them to be found. This is a pivotal flaw in the system, that some of the best content creators on a certain platform getting little to no recognition just because they don't know the right people. They're not getting in front of the right audience. People who would like their content don't know that they exist. So exposure in this instance is amazing for certain content creators, and we've seen it make and break careers all the time on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram, Twitter, even in just professional scenes where someone who's a small-time business brought into the mainstream blows up. Charli getting over this hurdle with the use of duets is incredibly smart and shows her natural talent when it comes to networking and social media, and it got her in front of an audience that would come to adore her in the future. Doing this early also gave her the momentum in her growth, which is one of the best things you can do when growing on any platform, as it gets you closer to what is called the bandwagon effect, or in layman's, hopping on the bandwagon. This doesn't mean that followers subscribe or follow, or whatever the platform happens to call them, aren't really just fans of your content, but that does mean that these people will join because a bunch of people already have. One interesting way to look at this would be to think of a time in which you started using a cringy word or phrase as a joke, but then started using it out of habit and began to realize you'd adopted it into your vocabulary, not as a joke anymore. This is a form of the bandwagon effect at play for you to see. So at first, people may have been following her just because other people were following her, but found that they actually liked and genuinely loved her content. This is where I honestly think she was doing the best, in my opinion. She didn't stray away from what got her where she was, but she did not keep it so boring and stale that it was the same old, same old. She kept adding interesting little bits, but not straying away from the core that her content had. She kept doing dancing videos with friends, her parents, and other creators, which garnered her quite a bit of fame. This consistency is something that a lot of creators can't do. Whenever they get their big break, they fizzle out in a few months or years because they try to keep on beating a dead horse, or they try to switch it up to something completely different and lose the core audience that they originally held. She made and continued to make relevant content that would keep her trending, and this is something that a lot of content creators should try to do after getting their big break. Don't go into something completely new. Don't just keep on doing the exact same old thing, but stay in that niche you started in and do something transformative. I think this is the weakest point in her career, and might be where we see her growth stop for the most part. Now, I'm not saying that she's on the decline. She's still gaining followers, but it's not like it used to be for her. And interestingly, we can actually see that she hasn't been getting the likes that she was originally getting, even though her audience is even bigger now than it ever was before. Because you could say that she's reached terminal mass, that she can't get any bigger. Hundreds of millions of people, 100+ million people follow her. She couldn't get that much bigger, that much faster. But if you look at her likes, you can see that there is something going on that is causing people to not like it as much, even though there are even more people. In my opinion, She hasn't been doing what made her famous. If you go to her TikTok right now, you won't see her making dancing videos as much as she did at the start of her career. While she is still doing some popular trends, she's not doing what made her. Back in the beginning, roughly 1 in every 3 videos would be a dancing/lip sync video. And now dancing is completely on its way out of her content, with it being 1 in 5 or even 1 in 10 of videos being a dancing video. Most of them just being trending videos. She's just doing what's trending, which it's smart for certain creators to do that, and I guess she's reached the point where she can do that, but she has kind of lost her roots. Looking back at her earlier videos, you can even see fans commenting on them from today's point of view, saying how much they missed her old videos and how they don't like what she's doing now. So we can even see it in her core fan base that are willing to go all the way back to the beginning of her content, but they want her to just go back to doing dancing content, and she has the following to do that, to just pursue doing what she likes, similar to as we see with PewDiePie, or even in a more mainstream, Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg's a Twitch streamer. Snoop Dogg does anything he wants. He's reached that level of fame. He can just do whatever the fuck he wants and people will watch it. And I think that's where she's kind of reached into, but it's still causing a major disruption in her core fan base of people who joined originally for her dancing and lip syncing videos. My conclusion is I hope she keeps doing the kind of content that she enjoys, but it is also refreshing to see a young lady or young woman, or just a woman in general, not doing overly sexualized content, as you see countless times on Twitch with the hot tub meta, on YouTube with every YouTuber, and especially on TikTok. It's refreshing to see someone who is doing transformative content that is nothing to do with over-sexualizing themselves. She is exactly what TikTok needs, whether or not they like it, and I hope she stays at the charts for a very long time as a respectable role model for young women to look up to. This has been Tolerant Madman, and I hope you like this type of content because I plan on making a lot more of it for some of the biggest TikTok creators, and I can't wait to unveil it to you guys. If you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, and you don't miss a single thing. See you in the next video.